slightly before Ash's 14th birthday. This leads to the
Man, he's aging fast. He's aging fast. At this rate, he's gonna be freaking 50 by the time we're done. What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today, I'm gonna be reacting to Game Theory. What is I'm gonna have to censor that. I mean, Ash Ketchum's real age by the game theorists. Now, I don't know how old Ash is. I believe in the game he's, was it like 10 or 11 years old, something like that? But, I mean, that would have been when it first came out. And I do not know when Pokemon first came out. I believe, I don't know, basically you'd have to find whenever it came out. Then you'd go back 10 years, that would be his birth year. And then you just do the math from, you know, then to now, and there's his age. It would take like 2 minutes. But, yeah, I don't know, maybe there's more to it, I guess. But with that being said, the original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the Game Theorists. Freaking love MatPat. And, yeah, with that being said, let's begin.
As much as we all laugh at Ash Ketchum for not learning anything about basic type advantages and Pokemon battle tactics, his accomplishments are actually nothing to scoff at.
Pikachu the Horn!
Out of all the trainers in the Kanto region, he was one of only 16 to advance to the 5th round of the Indigo Plateau Conference. He's won himself 48 total gym badges. He was a quarter finalist in the Johto League, Hoenn League, and Unova League. He was the Sinnoh League semifinalist and Kalos League finalist. For a guy who's
But after all of that, he still can't afford to pay his bills. Because I believe MatPat did a video, like, you know, finding out how much money you'd make as a Pokemon master, and it turned out to be, like, less than minimum wage or something. It was like really bad.
Strategy is literally Pikachu shock. It's not effective, will shock harder. Ash has bested some of the strongest trainers in the world, and yet we've still never seen him face his most formidable opponent, puberty.
He's stuck in a timeline where he doesn't age. Ba 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 da ba.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to, game theory? Film theory? Flip a coin theory!
It's a little bit of both, isn't it?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. This one falls into kind of a weird gray area because it's about Pokemon, but it's not about the games specifically, it's about the anime. A topic that would
So it'd be film theory then, wouldn't it?
normally go on film theory. Curse you, ever blurrier lines on how we consume content in an ever-changing digital landscape. Curse you! Anyway, since the mystery of Ash's age was something you overwhelmingly voted to see during the last Pokemon game theory, I decided it made the most sense to put it here. Hopefully that's not offensive to too many of you. So, Ash Ketchum. You know him, you love him, you ship him with Misty. This young would-be Pokemon master has battled his way through over half a dozen.
I don't know, but I'm gonna take a wild guess before we get going that he's probably around 35, 40 maybe. If we do the math, because, you know, as I was saying, if you take, you know, his age being around 10 or 11 years old, and, you know, when it was originally created, I'm not really sure when Pokemon was originally created, but I believe it was in, like, the early 1900s. The 1990s or the 1980s. So, if you do that, he's probably around 30 or 40. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it has to be around there.
In regional leagues, 20 seasons, and over 1,000 episodes of.
Okay, so if it's 20 seasons, that's 20 years plus his original age of 10. So he's friggin' 30 right there, folks. 30. Math's done.
Of televised content, which is a heck of a career for someone who doesn't look a day over I'm not sure exactly, but he certainly doesn't look like someone who was 10 years old back in 1997. That being said, 20 years passing in the real world doesn't necessarily correlate to 20 years passing on a show, so we can't really be certain of how old Ash is until today. It's time to settle this mystery once and for all. Using the narrator's clues, holidays, seasonal transitions, and even the ripeness of fruit, we can actually calculate just how old this plucky, prepubescent Pokemon professional is. Right off the bat, it's important to establish one key difference.
You're gonna find out how old he is based off of fruit ripeness? Now that's what I call detective work.
between the anime and the video games. Our trainer's starting age. On the second page of the instruction manual for Pokemon Red and Blue, we see that, quote, you're an 11-year-old boy living in Pallet Town. However, in the TV show, Ash actually starts his Pokemon journey after reaching the age of 10.
And now that I'm 10, I can finally get my Pokemon license.
10-year-olds can get a beginner Pokemon from Professor Oak.
So for this analysis, we'll be focusing specifically on Ash's age. And that means looking at the TV episodes exclusively. All 1,020 of those TV episodes.
Did you actually have to watch every single episode for this to find out his age? Oh my god, no, there's no way. You'd still be watching it. You'd be like a couple seasons in at this point or something. Unless you started making this video like 5 years ago.
Episodes, which, let me tell you, is a lot of this.
Pikachu! Thunder Shock!
And this. I don't know if you ever noticed this growing up, but this show is a bit formulaic. The other key detail we need is the date.
Well, that's most shows are a bit formulaic. Like, if you think of Family Guy, right? Starts off relatively normal, like the day, problem happens, they solve it, everything's resolved by the end, and then it just repeats. It's the same thing. But I think, you know, a lot of people like that kind of formula where, you know, at the end of the day, everything's gonna be fine. I think people just like that journey of, you know, having to fight or solving the problem. You know, I think people like that.
Date of Ash's birthday. We know that he's 10 when the show starts, but he may not be exactly 10. It's not like everyone in Pallet Town suddenly decided to coordinate the start of their Pokemon journeys around Ash's birthday. He could be as young as exactly 10 years old, or as old as 10 years plus 364 days. Luckily, we can pin down the exact date to the day. According to Takeshi Shudo, chief writer for the Pokemon anime, in his novel Pokemon Pocket Monsters: The Animation Volume 1, we learn that Ash's exact age when he left home was 10 years, 10 months, and 10 days. Quote, I can recall all the past 10 years with Ash. 10 years, 10 months, and 10 days. All of the hardships, the times it was too painful to go on. This is how Delia felt the day that her only son left home. End quote. And if you thought that little bit sounded sad, you should absolutely read the part about Ash's father abandoning his family to become a failed Pokemon trainer a few pages earlier. It is shockingly depressing for a story about a bunch of characters who are meant to be stuffed animals eventually. Anyway, Ash leaves home on April 1st, so counting backwards, we can find that Ash's birthday is on May 22nd, meaning that Ash starts his Pokemon journey at age 10, but turns 11 just a month and a half after leaving Pallet Town. Now, to save us some time, in my last episode, I calculated that Ash's journey through
Yeah, there we go, here we go. Look, how rich is a Pokemon master? In that one, like, I guess even if you were successful, you weren't making much money or something. I remember it being like, you know, not enough to survive or something like that.
Kanto, the time between the day he meets Pikachu and the day he challenges the Indigo League, is 1 year and 3 months. In other words, he's had 2 birthdays by the time he enters his first Pokemon Championship, making him 12 years old when Season 1 comes to a close. If you want any more details on that, I go into it in the previous Pokemon Theory, link in the iCard in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, or at the end of this video. After losing in the Indigo League, Ash spends his summer licking his wounds in the Orange Islands. You can tell that this whole 36-episode arc takes place over just a few months because the events move quickly as they explore small islands, the weather never really changes, the whole thing is framed as a fetch quest for the GS Ball, and shortly after being crowned Orange League champ, we see Ash heading off to Johto in the fall. Now, here's where things start to get tricky. You see, outside of the mainline anime, between 1999 and 2001, there was a sub-series of direct-to-VHS Pikachu shorts named Pikachu's Winter Vacation, with each collection being 2 or 3 episodes with a winter or Christmas theme. Because they weren't part of the main series,
Wait, so you mean like Pikachu shorts isn't Pikachu short videos or movies? I thought you meant legit actual Pikachu shorts. Like, what does this have to do with anything?
their place in the timeline is actually not super clear. However, since they always feature Christmas Day, there are single best clues to knowing how much time is passing in the anime. And it's these episodes that allow us to determine that the entirety of Ash's Johto journey took him nearly 2 years to complete. Let me explain. In the 2000 release of Pikachu's Winter Vacation, the episode Stantler's Little Helpers shows Ash's and Misty's Pokemon teaming up on Christmas Eve to help Santa cure his sick Stantler. The Pokemon we see team up include Ash's Heracross and Misty's Poliwag. Poliwag. It's also important to note that Ash doesn't have a Cyndaquil in his team yet. This means that the Christmas day depicted in Stantler's Little Helpers must fall between episode 119 of the anime, where Ash catches a Heracross, and episode 141, where he catches a Cyndaquil. The presence of Misty's Poliwag also confirms this, because we see Poliwag evolve into Poliwhirl in the Totodile Duel, episode 151. So with that being our first winter spent in Johto, Ash is still 12. Our next timeline clue happens 28 episodes later with the Pichu-centric episode, The Apple Core. Now at this point in the series, Ash is a traveling lineup of Bulbasaur, Totodile, Chikorita, Pikachu, Cyndaquil, and his most recent addition, a shiny Noctowl that he caught in episode 154, Foul Play. The next major change in his team will be Chikorita evolving into Bayleaf in episode 199, Current Events. So why does all of that matter? Well, first, remember that Johto is based on the Kansai region of Japan, where based on harvest calendars, apples are in season for...
Oh, this is where the fruits come into play. I was wondering when they were going to come into play during this. Because when you mentioned it to begin with, I'm like, what? Fruits? How are you supposed to tie that in? How are you supposed to tie fruits in? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
all months except for summer. So that helps us narrow things down, but to get a precise date, we have to look at Pikachu's next winter vacation. In 2001, Pikachu's holiday cash-in featured the episode Delibird's Dilemma, where Ash's team helps a Delibird recover Santa's presents on Christmas Eve. Ash's team in this episode contained a Noctowl and a Chikorita, meaning that Pikachu's Winter Vacation 2001 edition had to have been sandwiched between catching the Noctowl and the Bayleaf evolution, meaning that another birthday has passed for Ash. So by episode 200 of the anime, our husky-voiced Pokemon Master wannabe is now 13. And that's the last time that we see the team in a Johto winter, meaning that the League Challenge is being held in March of the following year, slightly before Ash's 14th birthday. This leads to the...
Man, he's aging fast. He's aging fast. At this rate, he's gonna be freaking 50 by the time we're done.
Events of the advanced seasons, corresponding to the third-gen video games focused on the Hoenn region. Episode 1 of this series takes place on April 1st, as our Misty replacement May gets ready to begin her Pokemon quest.
Hi, my name's May, and I'm 10 years old. I'm on my way to meet my dad's friend, Professor Birch, and to get my beginner's Pokemon. Then I can begin my journey as a Pokemon trainer.
And if you're like me at this point, you're probably wondering why every new trainer's Pokemon journey begins on April 1st. Well, it actually has to do with Japan's school year. According to Article 59 of the Ordinance for Enforcement of the School Education Law, quote, the school year shall start on April 1st and end on March 31st of the following year. And if you're like me right now, you're probably thinking, damn, school year ends on March 31st and the new one starts on April 1st? That's brutal. Also, you're probably asking yourself, why the heck would they start school in April? Well,
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, why don't they just do it like the rest of us? Why would you start it on April 1st, too? Which is the weirdest day. Because that's April Fool's. It'd be like, time to go to school, honey. And they're like, oh, Ma, it's April Fool's. I know you're trying to get me. No, it's school. Get ready. You're going. Like, it just seems like a bad idea doing it on April 1st. Out of all the days, April 1st just seems way too weird. But then again, I guess, I don't know, maybe they don't do April 1st over in Japan. I don't know.
Well, I dug even deeper to find that one out. Apparently, it's structured this way to match the fiscal year, aka the business year as defined by when you have to pay taxes, which runs in Japan from April to March. Now, all of that might seem like random trivia, but knowing this information about Japanese schools actually really helps us place these early Hoenn episodes. You see, in episode 12, the Lotad Lowdown, it's established that it's warm enough to swim in a lake. But just 3 episodes later, Gonna Rule the School, we see that classes are in session. So knowing that Hoenn is a more tropical region based on Kyushu, a Japanese island closer to the equator, we can look up the average monthly temperatures in that region to see when we could do some decent swimming, and then compare that to the typical Japanese school year, which takes its summer break between August and September, to ultimately conclude that the Hoenn adventure starts around June or July, meaning that Ash is now 14. And that's where it stays, for a surprisingly long time, actually. The Hoenn arc has a ton of episodes, but we don't actually get that many time jumps in it, with each episode adding only a day or two to the overall journey. We can
Oh, so maybe he isn't going to be that old. Maybe he's not going to be a 50-year-old man. Maybe he actually is gonna be maybe in his 20s by the end of this.
Actually double check this with the episode Garden of Eden, number 88, where the team tries to save a local banana harvest from a hungry Snorlax. If you look closely, you'll notice that the bananas used in this episode are slightly smaller than you would expect. And this isn't an accident. While Kyushu isn't tropical enough to really grow its own bananas, the Japanese island of Okinawa, a bit more south, absolutely is. And it's known for growing smaller bananas known as the Shima banana. It's harvested from May to October, which allows us to know that 88 episodes into the season, we're still in the same year. We actually don't hit summer again until the Battle Frontier arc. And we know this through, of all places, 2 Pikachu-centric shorts that aired exclusively on Japanese airlines. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. And serious talk here, guys.
They aired episodes specifically on Japanese airlines, nowhere else. I mean, it's a good business move for the airline, but like, it just seems like it's really, I don't know, what, like, making fans have to go on the airline to see the episode? Like, that just seems really cruel if you think of it, right?
I know a lot of you sometimes question my research, and yeah, sure, sometimes I miss really obvious things, but between this episode and that deep dive into Korean copyright law from a few weeks ago, I hope you noticed that I try really hard. Anyway, this short is titled Pikachu's Summer Festival, and features Brock's Lombre, which he captures early on in the Battle Frontier arc. We get further support that this is indeed summer in the Pokemon anime from a second Pikachu short, Pikachu's Ghost Carnival, another of those airplane exclusives, which appears to be Pikachu and the gang celebrating
Another
the
one.
Hungry Ghost Festival, a traditional Buddhist celebration held in Asian countries like Japan. During the festival, which is held in August, ghosts are free to roam the earth where they seek food and entertainment. These ghosts are believed to be the ancestors of those who forgot to pay tribute to them after they died, or those who were never given a proper ritual send-off. And in the short, we clearly see the Pokemon putting out food for the spirits. We also clearly see Ash's Phampi coming into the fun too, who just a few episodes later, number 154, reversing charges, will evolve. With this being in August, once again, Ash has crossed his birthday, making him, drumroll please, 15. Ah! Why can't this kid ever get acne? Or some awkward body hair? It would make this whole episode so much—
Yeah, he's 15 years old. At that age, yeah, you'd have facial hair coming in, you'd have acne. Yeah, he's quite lucky. However, I guess if his voice doesn't deepen to a man, I guess that's one thing that isn't so lucky. But, you know, not having acne, that's a freaking one-up right there. That's a one-up right there.
much easier to do. Sorry about that outburst, but I'm now 1 hour 40 of researching this stuff, referencing episodes, cross-referencing Pokemon teams.
Hour 40? So you didn't watch every single episode over the course of 5 years like I had initially thought?
Analyzing day-night cycles, looking for every detail I can find, and I'm only up to season 9 of 20! 40 hours! Oh, it's like chipping away.
Wait, 40 hours? I thought you said it was an hour and 40 minutes. 40 hours? Oh, and you're not even halfway done.
Way at a giant block. It's a good episode, but it is the most tedious process ever. Okay. I don't know if you can tell right now, but I'm quite literally losing my mind. So, if you'll—
What? Alright, I don't know if I was saying anything. Or I don't remember. If I was saying anything, forgive me, but I forget. I lost, like, my mother came down and wanted me to get something. So, yeah, I don't know what I was saying, if I was saying anything. If I wasn't, let's just forget it. Let's just get back.
You'll excuse me, I have to cut it here. Otherwise, this thing is gonna be literally a 40-minute long episode that takes me 3 weeks just to write, and the editor is probably like a month to edit. So please do me a favor and make this all worth it by taking a guess in the comments as to what you think Ash's age is gonna be by the time I finish all—
I did this from the beginning. I said, was it like 30 or 40 years old or something? And then I said, at this rate, he's going to be around 50. But now, since he's only, 15 years old, maybe, I think around maybe 20. Maybe 20. He might even be younger. Which I definitely didn't see that coming from the beginning.
all my research. My guess is, let's see, we're in season 9 of 20. I'm gonna say 21. We'll see. Anyway, I'm excited to see your guesses.
We're close.
In the meantime, I'm gonna go take a shower because I don't shower until I finish scripts. Yes, I know that's gross, but it just shows you how dedicated I am to grinding away at these things until
What, you get up in the morning and you don't have a shower?
they're done. And then I'm gonna hop back in for another, whatever, 600 episodes that I have to cover.
Oh, that's the end of this episode! No, we don't get an answer! No! So Matt Pat thinks that Ash is going to be around 21. I think is probably around 20-ish. But yeah, that's definitely not what I was expecting. I was expecting to be around 40 or 50 years old. But yeah, he's definitely not that old. And he's also extremely lucky, even if he's 15 years old or 20 years old, you know, not having acne. But then again, you know, his voice is not like it really went through puberty or anything, right? But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I guess we gotta wait for the second part to find out how old he is. But yeah, with that being said, if you like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up, possibly share a friend. If you're new, subscribe and join the family. Also, make sure you guys go subscribe to MattPat, that link's in the description. Or not MattPat, well, MattPat, but you know, the Game Theorist. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Boop.